Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you'll be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called SQL Concepts Clarified, and here we'll be learning the difference between null and zero in SQL. Okay, so zero, okay, I'll put it in here so for your clarity. Zero, we all know what zero is as a number value. We know it from primary school days, zero. It is less than one, it is greater than -1, that is zero. Null is something new for many of us. And to put it simply, it is the absence of a value, the absence of a numeric value, or also the absence of any other value of any other data type. So no value or blank, that's null, okay? Let's use zero in a where clause using the equality operator, okay? Although we know zero, but let's just see it in action in a select statement. So select asterisk from city time, which is the table, where UTC, the column name, equals zero, okay? So if I don't include the condition, then it will query everything, regardless of the value of the UTC column. But with the added condition on the UTC column, we're just filtering the data set being returned only to show those with UTC value of zero. Okay, so that's why you only see two of them, right? So here you are, remember zero is a numeric value, it's a number value. And because it is a number value, you can use any relational operator which is used on a number on zero. Okay, so now let's see it in action using this is equal, where UTC equals zero. Now let's use a different operator which is not equal to zero. Okay, this is the way to do it, not equal to zero. So it should, when I execute this, it should return to me a different data set, not this, because these are equal to zero. So it will show me whatever number of records there are where the UTC values are not zero. Could be less, could be more, right? Okay, so we see them. There are many of them. If I do a right click and count, it is 23 rows of them. And if you scroll through the values and scan through them, you will notice that you'll find out that indeed the values of the UTC column are all non-zero. It's either greater than zero, which are positive values like this one, or negative values, which are also not equal to zero. Okay, so that satisfies the condition. Since it's a numeric value, this zero, we can use any other operator or relational operator which is used on number values. Okay, so we can also use something like this. Greater than or equal to, which is mathematics, right? So meaning select asterisk from this table where UTC value is either greater than zero or equal to zero. Okay, so it's a combination of the first and the second queries. Not really a combination, but it's a variation. Okay, so let's check the values of UTC if it is correct. If they are correct, indeed they are correct, greater than or equal to zero. So we should not see any negative values in here because of this condition, right? Greater than or equal to zero. Okay, because zero is a number value, then we can use relational operators which are normally used on numeric values in a select statement, right? So that is the those are examples where we see how we use zero in SQL, especially in a where condition, okay? Now let's look at the concept of null, which is the absence of a value, okay? Let's look at a table. Select city code, city name, country code from geocodes, order by city code. Okay, so if you focus on the rightmost column called country code, you'll see some of them have values labeled as null in parentheses. Null, null, and then here Egypt, and then null, null, and then here is Kenya, null, null, right? So some are null, some are not. Again, null is the absence of a value. Absence of a value means blank. It is not zero. It is not the same as a space created by a space bar, because that creates a character in itself. But this is the absence of a value, right? So that is null. Now, let us, here we are querying everything in the value because there's no where condition here. Now let's just filter them using the null condition where country code. But remember I mentioned earlier that null is the absence of value. Being such, we cannot use an equality operator like equals, not equals, because it's not a value. Actually, it is the absence of a value. So what we will use to mention null in a where condition or even in an if statement is either is or is not. So in this case, let's just display all those records wherein the country code have null values, meaning blank. Okay, where, so I added this condition where country code is null. And it shouldn't display any records with value, with a value in the country code column. That's the expectation. Okay, so that's correct. Where country code is null. So it's now displaying to me only those records where the value of the country code column is null. All of them are null, all the way down, right? Okay, so we've seen that if we want to filter the records using in SQL, wherein we only want to look at or return those with a null value in a column, then we will use the null, the is null keywords. That is okay. So this is showing the null. What if I only want to see those records where in the country code has a value? Then I will use is not null. So this part, take note of this. This is being used instead of the equals, not equals, greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal. Because it's not a value, you use the special keywords. It's either is or it's not. Okay, let's go. So with the is not keywords being used, complementing the null keyword, then this is what happens. It is displaying to me those records in this table where in the country code has a value, meaning it's not null or it's not blank. So if you go all the way down, all of them have values for country code. Okay, so there you go. We have seen the main differences between the concept of zero and null in SQL. Zero is a numeric value, null is not a value, it's the absence of a value. And when you use zero in a where condition, even in an if statement, you can use the relational operators which are normally used on a number or by a number, like equals, not equals, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, etc. But in null, you cannot use that because this null is not a numeric value. So what you will use instead is either is null or is not null. Okay, thank you for watching and listening. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe and click the bell. So I'll be seeing you in the next video.